Hello and welcome to 5 Year Club video number 202. Don't get caught in the weeds. This video is a discussion of prioritization in your life. Every day we have to decide what to do, or life will decide what to do for us. We have to decide how we're going to spend time on that weekday or on that weekend day. Which tasks are we going to work on first in the morning? What do we not have to do today? What could be done later? This prioritization is a complicated process. There are some tasks that we either do them now or they will never be done. There are some tasks where if we do them in the morning right then, we will do them faster and more efficiently. Or if we do the task while we're around other people who are particularly knowledgeable about the thing that we're working on. Some of the tasks that we have on that list are subtasks of larger goals, and those larger goals are not going to be realized until later. Some of the tasks that you have to do and rank are emotionally satisfying, and some are not at all, even if they lead to a very compelling outcome later. So it's pretty amazing that people can do this. Not everybody does this, but I have noticed that the most successful people I know do this every single day. They revisit an old list and then they re-rank things, or they write out a new one. Different people have different systems. But the successful people I know really focus on tasking and retasking and reprioritizing. Because the bottom line is that this is time management. This is aligning how you use your time with what your long-term goals are. And if you want to achieve a lot in the long run, you need to have some kind of system for tracking that time and paying attention to that time that we only have a limited amount of in our lives. So specifically in video number 202, I want to discuss a particular example from my task list because I think it illustrates something that can happen to us. There are two tasks on my list right now. Well, there's more than two, but here are the two here are two in particular. Research and purchase a mountain bike and prepare for Burning Man. Buying the mountain bike is, I guess it's a little complicated process. You have to research kind of what matters about a mountain bike, but that's actually kind of fun. You get to read magazines or watch videos on YouTube about mountain bikes. And you have to spend money, which you don't like seeing the money leave, but you do like seeing the shiny, new to me bike, that kind of thing. It's not that complicated in the sense that, I already kind of know what I want to do with it. I want to list out a range of bikes and then pick something that's kind of in the middle. I don't want the most entry-level bike, but I also really don't need some super fancy racing bike because I'm not, a world champion biker. Preparing for Burning Man, on the other hand, is much more involved and in many ways is less pleasant. I'm coordinating with 4 other people to schedule all the food and the systems that are necessary to survive together pleasantly in the desert for a week. I have an inventoried set of 9 boxes outside that need to be reviewed and repacked and kind of reconciled with the master list of stuff that we need. There are lots of subtasks that need to occur before I go at different points. I need to replace some bike chains. I need to shop for different kinds of groceries, batteries, and then the fresh food comes later. I need to clean off the chairs and the coolers that we're going to use. And all this stuff is kind of staggered depending upon the task in the month before we go. It's not very fun, but it is very time sensitive because if I don't get this stuff done, we're not going to Burning Man, or we're going to Burning Man, things are going to be kind of dirty and messed up and not prepared. And that's not how I want to spend my vacation. So there is more urgency to the Burning Man prep for that reason. And I think that one thing in life that I've generally learned is that the more hard things you do in the short run, the easier your life will be in the long run. Another aspect of this is that Burning Man, relatively speaking, preparing for it doesn't involve spending that much money. Well, it involves spending some money, but it would be less than the bike, and it's generally stuff like groceries. A lot of the tasks are just elbow grease, cleaning things, organizing things, and then having discussions with people about if they want to eat vegetarian food or meat, or if they only eat kosher, whatever the stuff is. I don't know. I'm just making it up. All right. So I think out of the gate, well, the responsible thing to do would be to prioritize preparing for Burning Man and then do fun bike shopping later. But that's not really a good analysis. And I think that the reason why is that I have noticed this year that exercise has not happened as much as I wanted it to. It's been my number one challenge this year between my work and doing these videos and just other stuff. I haven't gotten as much exercise as I wanted. And as I get older, it's increasingly more necessary for me to do exercise, like hard exercise, because I can't just keep this body for free, Can't keep these muscles for free. I gotta work for it. So anyway, I tried mountain biking, over the years, but, I definitely, I think about 2 years ago, I was like, man, I really need to do this. And I said, I'm going to purchase a bike and start doing this. And then I purchased a bike rack and I fixed up a bike and I never did it. And certainly some of that is on me in the sense that the bike that I got, I just didn't finish aligning the gears. But also the bike I got it for free. It's a nice bike. I'll definitely use it, but it is old and heavy for mountain biking, and it doesn't excite me to take it out and use it. So I think I'll make it a Burning Man bike, and that's good because some of those Burning Man bikes I have are really kind of on their way out. But I need to develop a healthy exercise habit. Mountain biking has a lot of characteristics that appeal to me, and if anything is going to be a habit that I get, I think that's going to be it in the near future. And getting this regular cardiovascular exercise is really important, not only for my amazing physique, but also for brain function, and I need this brain for all kinds of things, like making more interesting videos than this one. I will always be able to figure out something that I can rank higher than, purchasing a mountain bike. There will always be tasks that are harder or have earlier time limits or cost less money or that feel less pleasant, so it feels like I need to get them out of the way, so they seem more responsible. But as it turns out, I have already procrastinated on this task for 2 years, and I really don't need to procrastinate on it any longer. I need to just get it done. So when I, did my list, I put, purchasing that bike near the top. Because in the long run, if I don't go to Burning Man, nothing bad happens. I just don't go to Burning Man. But in the long run, if I don't get a regular exercise habit, if I don't find something that I like doing enough to make it part of my life on a regular basis, I'm going to suffer from some serious health problems. And that's not acceptable. And, for sure, I think there's a temptation to say oh, well, Lewis, you should just have the discipline to go and lift those weights in the background. They're pretty far in the background, really far in the background. And then you would get exercise. So if you just had more discipline and more will, then this wouldn't be an issue. And to that, I guess I would respond, and I think discipline is its own topic, is that part of discipline, or just part of getting stuff done, is understanding what's working and what's not working over time and admitting when something isn't working and then changing it. So there, there are many parts of life where I would say, like, yeah, you try the straightforward thing first, and if that fails, then you have to start appealing to your emotional side. So you try buying 2 pounds of kale first to increase your vegetable intake, and when you don't eat it, then you're like, okay, maybe I need to buy like a salad with more ingredients, or maybe I need to add some dressing. You change it, but you don't ignore it. You don't go out and buy 2 pounds of kale again and assume that you're just weak and, you have to figure out some way around this problem. You have to keep changing things and making moves until you find something that is going to work for you. So that's my attitude towards discipline. If that's kind of the response to the bike purchasing thing. So 2 final points at the end of the video. Number 1 is list out and prioritize your time every single day. Every single day in the morning, one of the first things you should do on a piece of paper, on a Google Doc, on an email to yourself, whatever it is, list out the things that you still need to get done and see if any of them need to be reprioritized. And the second thing is, when you do your priorities, I want you to not get too stuck in these certain complicated, seemingly urgent tasks that have lots of little moving parts, because we can get so stuck on all the different things that have to happen, all the different subtasks that can happen for a big task, that we forget to take a global look at how this task overall impacts your life. And there are certain fundamental things, and health is certainly one of them, exercise and diet, that play into health. They're huge. That we have to prioritize above earning money, that we have to prioritize above many of these, what's a good one? So exercise and eating right are more important than, well, going on a vacation for sure. I would probably argue getting car maintenance. Because if you're unhealthy, that's worse than if your car is unhealthy. For sure. Anyway, final thing, right? And that is, this asterisk that I put on this, take a step back and think about how each task impacts. And that asterisk is referring to rationalizing purchases, right? Because you can say, like, well, then any purchase that I could possibly do that could make me healthy in any way should be prioritized above everything else in my life. And no, it shouldn't, clearly. Some people do have a problem with spending specifically in areas. Kids is a huge one, is that, some parents will say, like, well, I got to buy this giant car, otherwise my kid won't be safe. And there is an analysis we can do to see if we're rationalizing the spending. And by rationalizing, I mean, like, doing it for reasons that actually don't make sense overall. And this analysis is pretty simple. The test to see if you are rationalizing a purchase is simply if that rationalization would matter. So, for example, are you on track with your annual savings goal? What's the answer? For me, the answer is yes, I am on track for my annual savings goal. And would purchasing the thing prevent you from hitting the annual savings goal? The answer in this case is no. This purchase would not prevent me from hitting my annual savings goal. If this purchase was like a car, then yes, it would probably, it's like, especially a new car, it would definitely prevent me from hitting my my annual savings goal. And so then I would think very hard about whether purchasing that car was a good idea and whether I was rationalizing it. But the bike, it's not going to prevent me from hitting my annual goal. So even if I am rationalizing it, it doesn't financially matter, because, as long as your savings rate, your long-term annual savings rate, fits in with your long-term goals, then you're doing okay. And if you look back in the last 3 months, the last 6 months, and you realize that you are off track and you are not where you should be to hit that annual goal, then you need to think about the reasons why you are spending money in certain ways, and how those reasons compare to what you want in the long run in those goals. Alrighty, well, that is it for 5 Year Club video number 2. I 202. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope that you will list out the things you need to do and then do some deep thinking about how those tasks play into your long-term goals. And if you've gotten too stuck in the details of any one task, such that you are ignoring tasks that really have a higher purpose in your life. That is it. Have a fabulous evening.